Welcome to WO50 Women Over 50 Embody Wisdom and Wellness.
Do we embody wisdom and wellness, Eddi?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do. My name is Corrine, and I'm here with my BFF, Eddi. And today on WO50, we are talking with Courtney Howell, who about gifts from the sea, all about seaweed skincare. It's a miraculous stuff. And Eddi is like, what's your title? It's like consulting.
I'm a wee little business partner, with product development and advisory, and just part of the growth of the company. And it's exciting. It's really good stuff.
It is good stuff.
It's growing. It's really therapeutic on the skin, and we're excited. And it's all here, like out of the ocean here in the cold Atlantic Ocean, and it's delicious.
Yeah, so we talk all about our visit with Courtney. She's a really cool gal, and her story of like how they started, and they live incredibly remotely. I mean, Newfoundland's remote as it is.
Yeah, they live in Grates Cove, which is absolutely beautiful, but it's definitely, rugged. Yeah, beautiful rocks and cliffs and lots of seaweed. Hey!
Hello, Courtney. Welcome.
Hello, how are you?
Courtney, meet Corrine.
Yes,
Hi,
hello.
Corinne. It's so nice to finally meet you.
I've heard all about you. And
You
how
as
long?
well.
How long have you guys known each other? Is it about a year now? Or
It
is
will
over
be a year in July.
In July.
That's crazy. Like it
July.
feels like longer, doesn't it? Like you guys had it feels like an instant connection.
It was. It was.
Over the supboards.
Over the supboards. Over seaweed, actually.
Which we call them. I don't know what a supboard is, but I know what a paddleboard is. So it's over a paddleboard is I think what they say here.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a Canadian thing, I think, is an
upright paddleboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a wonderful trip.
It was so much fun, and it's taken us kind of all over the place with wellness and health and seaweed. I've touched a bit on it through other podcasts, but
it'll change your life. That's for sure.
yeah, so I'm excited that you're on here because there's every week it seems like we're adding more and more and more, and you're perfect also for this podcast because you're heading into the menopause time and the changes and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
it is a time of change but also connection. So it's good. It's wonderful.
Yeah. So I'd love to hear because I want to hear from the beginning. Like you guys met about a year ago, but I want to hear maybe Courtney how you and your husband discovered seaweed and that you wanted to work with it and how you started your company and how long ago that was. I'd love to know that.
Sure. So we've been on quite a journey. It's been almost 16 years that we're in Grates Cove.
Wow.
We came here in 2009. Our daughter was about 6.5 months old at the time. We actually met while we were teaching English in South Korea, and we started dating soon after and started talking very early on about living in rural Newfoundland. Like that was kind of part of our dating life, just daydreaming about what living in rural Newfoundland would be like. He's from here. His father was actually born in Grates Cove, where we live. And we had a little detour in South Louisiana, where I'm from, after Korea. We did recovery work after Katrina and Rita, and when I found out I was pregnant with our daughter Phoenix, I always made a joke. Recovery kind of never ends in disaster relief, but you kind of pass on the leadership roles of continued recovery because it's so much. And I was at that point when I got pregnant with our daughter. And so we kind of made a joke when I found out I was pregnant with Phoenix. I said, okay, it's safe to tell people we're moving to Newfoundland now. And when we came here, we knew we had to start a business to be able to live in rural Newfoundland. And we did that through art initially. Terrence's background is in fine arts, mine is in anthropology. But the whole goal was to live in this environment and to learn from it. And we have in different ways. And we started a tourism business, but our lives really changed around 2016. We were in, after peak season of operating a busy restaurant and hosting and doing and raising a child. And in the winter is when we would get a chance as a family to immerse ourselves in the environment again. And we did that after a storm and with our daughter. And the storm had just happened to push up a species of seaweed called Laminaria digitata onto the beach. And I stepped over it. Phoenix was slapping us in the face with it or something. But Terrence knelt down and he decided to pick it up. And it changed the course of his life and our lives. When he picked it up, this gel was just oozing from it. And as Terrence does, he just started examining it and putting it on his skin and his hands. And he even commented at the beach what it was doing for him. And that just happened to coincide when he was in a over 2 year battle of a severe case of contact dermatitis on his abdomen. He has Crohn's and an ileostomy and developed an allergy to plastic. And he basically had a war on his abdomen.
Mm.
And there was nothing that of significance that really helped him. He went to a wound care nurse, he went to everyone, tried everything. And anyway, um, that coincided with this time and in his life and our lives. And um, he chose to bring that seaweed home with him. And just out of pure curiosity, he put some gel on his hands and put it on his abdomen. And it immediately provided a sense of calm to his skin. And it's something he hadn't felt in a long time. And, he initially says, maybe I'm making it up. I don't know. But the next day his skin was less red and he kept applying it. And within a week, it was very obvious that skin repair was happening. And then our lives changed and we started learning how to do seaweed extracts.
So
And
how, go
yeah.
ahead, Ed.
No, I said it's amazing that, you know, the compounds that we find in nature, that when he started playing with that, like the gel, right
Yeah.
away I thought of how aloe vera gel was
Mm-hmm.
discovered as well. Because first it was topical, and then they started taking it and making it more food grade, and it was putting fires out and helping reflux. And here we are with these, you know, we have 350 species that we can use here in the Atlantic Ocean, right? Up here. It's
Gosh.
amazing, right? It's just incredible. And that you guys stumbled upon this, and then you start playing with it. And here you guys are running a restaurant, because we actually, Strat and I went out and had an amazing meal at the restaurant. But the restaurant has kind of, it's, I think it's what, on a,
We're
maybe
figuring
not
it
going to
out.
happen this year.
The
It may
figure, yeah.
happen, but
I mean, you sound pretty
Yeah.
busy with other
she's
things.
so busy. But I love, and yeah, so they have so much. And that's the thing, you get so much information, and it's almost like this seaweed is taking on a life of its own, that
Uh,
it's waiting for the right people to come along and discover it almost, you know.
yeah, we feel lucky to be able to work with it. Really,
Yeah, yeah.
we
So
really do.
how would you I mean with the internet and stuff you could research, but like how do you then go from like researching and figuring it to like having the money to have either a lab or packaging and I mean that's a lot like cuz I've
Yeah.
started companies before, but it's
Well,
like
we're in the middle
so
of it.
much.
So
Yeah.
one of the things I've always said how we could just do so much work is because we live in the building where
Mm,
we work.
mm-hmm.
So when we moved here, we've kind of moved around Grates Cove as, you know, whatever, a new adventure started. But we bought an old schoolhouse here. And it's a
Wow.
large building. It's a 3,600 square foot building. And we didn't know we were going to move here. But one season running a restaurant with a toddler, just trying to get down the road, early enough to put bread on. What we did that one season, and
Mm,
we moved upstairs to the building. But we had already through the restaurant gone through the process of upgrading our electrical and renovating the building, and because we were preparing to grow a tourism-based business, which we have. So when we started with Seven Fathoms, a lot of that initial, you know, work that you would have to do to get an operational space we had already done.
mm, mm.
Um, And we just started the best way we could, get whatever, the packaging we could afford in small quantities and
Mhm.
work with local graphic designers to help get labeling done. And, there's a couple of programs in the province that can help with the cost of some direct marketing. Um, and I don't even know how it
Where
all
there's a
happened.
will, there's a way, right? You
That's
sound,
really
Yeah.
it.
yeah, you
You just
sound
keep
both
going.
creative. The fact that you both met, teaching English as a second language in another country that neither one of you are from, like you're both, very creative, living type of people that are used to taking chances. I feel too, like that's,
I
yeah.
think
Yeah,
so.
they're total. I think they're total visionaries. Like there are
Uh-huh.
when we met, actually, it was beautiful because we had an instant connection, and all of us did. And then when I went out to their place in Grates Cove, I'd never been to Grates Cove before, and oh, Corinne's gonna love this. Corinne, the retreats we've had in Ochre Pit,
Hmm.
well, Grates Cove is only another what, 30 minutes down the
30
road.
minutes from there. Yeah.
So it's
Wow.
right out to
I've
the
been
end
close. Hmm.
and it's beautiful and it's like a lot of rock and there's hikes and it's like it's really rugged. So it's really remote.
Yeah.
So even that they're doing this business out there is incredible. And we met last summer on a kind of a magazine content shoot, wellness thing. And Courtney and I connected right away. And
Started
she'd never,
giggling.
yeah, we did because she's like, oh, there's a lot of seaweed out here, and it's like you have to be like boated into the place we went, and they were great. The company was great that brought us out there, and we get out there, and I look at Courtney. I'm like, have you ever been on an upright paddleboard, a supboard? She goes, no, never been on one. Have you ever gone after seaweed? I'm like, no, never have. So
That was so fun.
yep. And then we started to talk because I'm looking at the healing, the medicinal, the therapeutic effects of seaweed, and we're pulling bladderwrack from the water. And I said, oh my God, this is like the lymphatic system of the ocean.
Is
And she said, you can eat this. This is edible. This is, and then we just started talking and things have grown. And now it's the product line. Like I even put up a little cream. Look at their little label.
oh,
Looks
Oh, isn't
fantastic.
it cool? It's
Beautiful.
beautiful. And
So beautiful.
the barrier cream's beautiful. There's tell us
Well,
everything
well,
else.
Eddie, you
What's
were
happening?
here in Nashville just a month ago, and she had her little sample bag of everything, handing them out to people, the different ones. And you gave me is it called barrier cream? So this is a sample. This isn't the final packaging. And you told me it was good for skin. And so a friend of ours, a new client for Eddie, she started using it on a skin thing she was having a problem with. Eddie said, Corinne, give her the extra one I gave you. And she emailed you and said how amazing it's been helping her, and she wants to order some now. And
Yeah,
then it
and
just
even when
recent.
she used a little bit and said, "Oh my God, it's like Botox on my eyes." I'm like, "Just wait till the eye serum's out. That's even gonna be even better." Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
these
so
extracts are amazing. They can do so much. What I love. So when we started working with the other species, now we work with two. The whole purpose was, can this help Terrence maintain his skin? It was for a purpose that, to help improve quality of life.
mm,
And so when we got the extract, then we started formulating, made that lotion. And when I started using the lotion on my face, I was like, oh, I hope this is good for my face. I want a good daily moisturizer because I hadn't used it up until that point on my face. And I thought initially it was making me break out, but it wasn't. It was making the pores smaller, it was cleaning them out and just transform the skin. And it was just kind of this light bulb like, wow, like what else can these bioactives do? And that's the beauty of the seaweed. You don't, I mean, we have an idea of what's allowing all this to happen, the bioactives, the
mm.
um, just the synergistic effects of everything, but you ultimately don't know all the mechanisms that are making this work, but it's just so versatile at a time where you just need things that can be helpful.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
there's so many toxic things out there, and we know everything we put on our body goes in our body, and the
Mm,
less we have the detox out of it, the better. And if you think about it, like the iodine, the benefits of it, when you just
yeah.
even just a little bit on your skin, we only need a little bit of iodine for our thyroid, for metabolic support, immune system support. It has a
Hmm.
lot of properties. So I don't know. I think as we add it to different things, like I think when people start using it, there's so much out there, right? But they start using it and going, gosh, this is 100% like clean. This is
Yeah.
great.
And
And
and what I want you to tell, because Eddie, you went by that really quickly because you know what it means. But like what you put on the outside goes on the inside. You have to detox. Like people, the way I used to think about it when I was young, before I even knew this stuff, I was thought was like if I put or take a tiny tiny little pill and I can't get pregnant. You know,
mhm,
with birth control pills when we were young, or I put a hormone cream now that I'm older, a little tiny little pea-sized hormone, and it balances my hormones. It's like everything does that we put on our skin, right?
everything. I mean, just think about the patches people put on to stop smoking. Like things are
Mm,
going in every product we put on our skin, everything. So
Yeah.
if it's loaded with mineral oils and petroleum jellies and things like that, like it's not good because the body still has to filter it. And this is why a lot of times I think the liver has to do a lot of cleansing, right? it's
mm,
it's our huge detoxer, and we're getting a lot of metabolic dysfunction and a lot of liver issues, and a lot of people are getting cirrhosis, and they're not drinking. So a lot of times this is from the toxins that are getting into the body and not getting out of the body. So
Hmm.
even like Courtney and them are also they've had seaweed baths, and we're working on all kinds of
mm.
medicinals. Um, but you could feel the difference. Like I just soaked in it one night and got out my skin, and I just felt calm. And just think about it, just a little bit of that, you know,
Yeah,
it's a superpower, right? It's like
it
we use
is.
magnesium, but we have all this beautiful seaweed. And I just learned the other day it has a life cycle.
Hmm.
Courtney's, we're talking about it's like it has a life cycle, so it needs to be protected and
Yeah.
sustained, and it's really beautiful. So even harvesting this is helping the ocean.
Hmm.
Yeah. So tell us more about what does that mean? It has a life cycle, the
On
seaweed.
to you, Courtney.
So it has this, it's lovely because it all coincides with how we harvest as well. A lot of its life cycle starts like in for us around November and December with spores releasing from the seaweed. And
Which
then
is like
starting
it's
to,
seeds, right? Because I work with mushrooms
yes,
and it's like it's seeds. Yeah, yeah.
very like I guess very similar, just kind of like,
Hmm.
coming out of the seaweed. So that starts here around no, maybe October, but really November and December, and then just really starts to hold on, grow these hold fast, where they start to quickly grow and absorb nutrients and start developing bioactives in really the dead of winter when it's the coldest and most turbulent here, which actually encourages more production of the bioactives. And then so when we track this, not in the dead of winter, it's too dangerous to get into the ocean. But when we start harvesting, we'll start tracking around May and June and July and August to measure how much bioactivity is in there. But that's its growth. And its peak for us here, it might be different in different places around August and September.
Which
Whereas at
makes
its
which
most
makes sense
mature.
with yeah with a plant before a plant goes to seed. It's at its most mature. So it's similar. Is that what you're saying? Right before it
That's what it
spores.
feels like to
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
Yeah. Because
And
yeah, when it's the most I guess, yeah, the most bioactive.
yeah, and bioactive means, I guess, like in plant, I'm just thinking because I know plant like food plants. I'm thinking that means like nutrient dense. Is
Yes.
that kind of what it means? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it would have vitamins and minerals, but
Mm-hmm.
also these special compounds. The one we talk about a lot is called fucoidan.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say it's a wonderful compound to get to know. Fucoidan. It's this just wonderful little workhorse that That's what helps to block inflammation. That's what helps to draw moisture into the skin. But it just does so many other things in and on the body, helping to encourage healthy cells and even helping to repair. They're wonderful bioactives.
And that's
And
in the seaweed itself, or that's the name of the seaweed? Like, is that
So it's in the seaweed.
in the
So
one? Yeah.
for
Yep.
us, it's in so there's three types of seaweeds. There's red, green, and brown seaweeds. And we currently work with two browns, and it's brown macroalgae. And brown macroalgae is what has that really special bioactive compound called fucoidan. Um, and it just happens to um, get produced in high amounts here because it's because of the cold and turbulent waters here. Because its purpose is to help protect the seaweed out in the wild. It's what helps to repair UV damage in the seaweed. It's what helps to keep the seaweed hydrated. It's what helps to keep it nice and strong in these very harsh conditions. So when we gently extract that and make product with it, you're transferring that power into, well, what you're putting on your skin and in your body.
Right.
into
And then what?
yourself.
And then what? Yeah. Right. And then what you're saying then is the more, did you say that a few minutes ago? Like the more you're cultivating it, you're taking it and using it, that it's growing even more. Like that's what nature does when you
Yeah.
harvest the proper amount, then it grows more. It's good for it to cut things back.
It is, and how we harvest also. So we have a license through our Department of Fisheries here, so they've helped guide us on how to properly harvest,
Mm,
only harvesting a certain percentage of the bed, honoring fallow periods to encourage regrowth, but also like one of the most important things is cutting above reproductive areas so
mm,
that you're not you're allowing for that release of spores to continue. So that's yeah, it's really important to honor that and to do that. Like what I just think what an incredible opportunity to have a resource that regenerates so quickly and in such with such
Yeah.
wonderful properties. Like if you do it properly year after year, you can keep doing more and more with
mm-hmm,
it.
It
It's
gets better and better.
exciting.
It
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
thrives. It
it
gets
is.
better and better.
And you can
It
it's not
it's like
something we're going to run out of if we do it properly.
it's
Mm-hmm.
like having your own garden in the ocean.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you got to tend to it. Yeah, and they know how to check it for like it's checked for lots of things, metals and
Yeah.
different things. If it's little spots and growths
Mm.
and things like that, and they have a team around them that's amazing. Some great minds that it's awesome.
So
It
your
is.
company's grown. That's what I wanted to ask. So Courtney, what drew you to start talking to Eddi about coming on board and who else do you have?
Well, that was a very natural connection. I think we both, just from talking that night when we were at dinner that night on the island, um, it was so nice to be because we're often just here in our building working. That's something we're working on to connect more with people. So that was so lovely to have dinner with everyone that evening, and everyone was opening up and sharing and um, about wellness and what that meant to them. And it was just a natural connection and starting to talk about the impact that it can have on people. How did it change our lives and our family? And my gosh, what can this do? Like how
Yeah,
far can you take this
yeah.
to
It's more
have
than just
positive impact?
Well, it's more than just seaweed chips.
Yes,
People are so
it is.
used to just seaweed. The ones we buy, Corinne, those little packs of
Mm,
seaweed, and that's
mm-hmm,
just nori and there's kelp
mm-hmm.
and there's those kinds. But when you get into this beautiful cold water type of seaweed, like it's amazing that the healing properties that's happening with it. And we're not having to use a lot of like when I think of what I have in my office, I'm excited by it because people want, it's a big industry. It's not that we're doing it for just vanity or cosmetics. It's healing the skin. This is incredible for scars and even the deodorant we're working on, it doesn't block pores, and it all takes time. You don't just wave a wand and it's available. Like these guys have been, we're all kind of putting our, you know, ideas in a hat, and chemists, and we're coming together with, oh, that would work. Oh, that would be different, to make these proprietary blends that nature's leading us to do it, right?
Yeah.
There's
And that
no,
was really wonderful, like when we met, to be connected to you and someone who understands it and sees it, because that's so much a part of this whole journey, is educating people on what is so special about seaweed.
yeah.
So that was really nice to, I think Terrence and I were like, oh, she gets it. She knows.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
she's
because
one of
it's,
us.
yeah, but I've always loved it. I've always loved seaweed, but I've
Yeah,
dabbled in making creams and lotions and potions and things like that. I've loved it, but it's a lot of work. You got to get the
yeah,
containers and the right mix, so there's a lot goes into it, and you're also balancing a lot. Like you're balancing all the shifts and changes in your life and your hormones and your daughter growing up, and holding the bag and the financial stress. Like there's a lot, right?
it was a
So,
lot.
so how old
It
is
was,
Phoenix now?
she is 16.
Oh, wow.
She's beautiful.
16.
She's a mermaid. She's literally a mermaid.
She's
Mm,
awesome. Yeah,
that's so great. And
yeah.
so now you guys, I know Eddie shared with me the BW cream, which I recently used on my little cold sore, and it was the best thing I've ever used on my cold sore. Like it didn't get as big as it normally did, and it calmed down. And yeah, it was just phenomenal. Like I've never had anything. I got to get some to send it to my sister and my nephew because they both
That's the
cold
fifty
sores too.
fifty. But
Yes.
but she ships to US and Canada.
Oh,
Yeah.
Canada, you too, US now too?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
So you have a
And
website. We'll definitely link that. And
mhm.
Mhm.
then Eddie, what's your so you and your husband are the founders and the formula is that your title?
Yes, formulators, we had to give ourselves titles.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
But yeah, he does a lot of the formulation. He does.
Uh,
Yeah. And then we get help where we need it,
yeah,
as the formulas get more complicated.
yeah.
But a lot of it, and like his whole goal, and it's his way of doing everything, is sometimes the hardest thing to do is to be simple with things. And that is what Terrence really, that's just his nature.
Mm,
Um, so he really, I think he just instinctively can feel the essence of something, and that's what guides him. So that's kind of what leads, you know, to hopefully creating something that feels really good and that's going to absorb well. And
mm.
so it's a lot of this is intuitive as well.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Even your whole journey from the beginning is organic and intuitive and natural to go along
Yeah.
with the nature you're working with.
Teach you
And
how to trust.
yeah, so oh yes, doesn't it? So and so what was Eddie, do you have I was gonna go somewhere and I just lost my mind, lost
It'll
that thought.
come back to you again. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll throw in an
Mm-hmm.
Eddieism. I call us the Fathoms family.
Fathom. Yay.
The Fathoms family. Not
Yeah,
the
because the
not to be mistaken with the Adams family, but the Fathoms family. That's
No,
who we are.
no.
Yeah.
so
This is
so the
my,
company's is Seven Fathoms, set the number seven, right?
yes,
Hmm.
7 fathoms.
Sevenfathoms.ca, probably.
Yes,
See,
so
Yeah.
7 fathoms seaweedskincare.ca.
Okay.
Yeah, or
Okay.
.com. You can do
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
yeah.
And so the focus is skincare. So tell us now what we would love for to hear about your journey with, either as you're getting closer to 50 and at your age through perimenopause and maybe into menopause, maybe like what has changed, shifted your interest in, some products that might help you.
Well, I think for me, like my really started changing probably, I mean, really last summer, but this past year a lot. So just noticing like what you hear a lot of women now talking about, your skin quality changes, Um, I feel like the shape of my face has changed. Um,
Mine too.
just the different kinds of aches and really realizing like your strength changes. It increases in some ways and decreases in other ways.
Yeah.
And I feel like I lean into my seaweed baths a lot more.
Mm,
I I do that a lot to help with the calm. It's such a change. It's and I've really tried to not suppress it.
mm,
Like even with like the hot flashes and the anxiety and all of that, I'm trying to be conscious to just let myself go through it. I don't want to hold on to it anymore. And you hear a lot of women talk about that. And I feel like those baths are a gift.
Do you
mm.
Because
find you've
the calm
do you
and
find that you've changed like with your ideas of not
gosh.
being so intense about having to make it work, that you're just kind of, like you said, leaning into what is and what's, because
I'm
after we've
trying
talked a
to,
bit, right? It's like, because when you
yeah.
come out of having a business and feeling like you're juggling everything, and I bet there was times when you just went, should we do this anymore? Like,
Oh,
what the
more than
heck?
once. More than
Yeah.
once, for sure. It's
Yeah.
I feel like I've been just trying to hold everything together for
Mm.
so long, with Terrence's, Crohn's is like another member of our family.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and just always trying to hold enough health together, hold enough money together, hold enough structure together. And it probably like the letting go started probably a couple years ago with my mom died. Terrence had a major unexpected surgery 2 months later where he had another foot of bowel cut out. It was supposed to be a 20-minute surgery just to help bring the stoma out a little bit more. And I didn't hear anything for 7 hours.
Mm.
And um, and then starting to go through perimenopause and menopause. So all of that is like just such big change. And I was ready for change. Ready.
Mhm.
I don't want to hold on to this impossible task of keeping it all together all the time. So I'm still in the middle of it. But it's so nice once you get through that first really big, scary letting go and you realize you survive, you kind of say, okay, I can do it. I can keep doing this.
Yeah.
And
What?
It's almost like when you stop, you decide not to people please, right? Sometimes it
yeah,
happens in the family and you say no, and then you're waiting for the reaction, and then you say no again, and then no, no, no.
yep,
It's like really clear, right? It's like, and I think that's what really starts to happen in midlife, in menopause, the
yeah.
falling away, like a lot of women, like I'm watching all kinds of things now. I mean, Oprah's got something, Dr. Haver has something,
Mm,
um, right? Everybody's got something. We had something we posted on menopause, and it's real, and people have dismissed it, and these hormone changes, and our thought processing, it shifts, and we're in the middle of it. We have children growing, or grandkids, or businesses that are thriving or not thriving, or we're full and then we're not full, and
Parents, aging
parents
parents.
aging, and we lose our parents, or we're right in the sandwich, right in the middle. And
yeah.
then the being okay with it, it's a daily practice.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I listened to
Yes.
somebody today and he said, we are always saying, this is my life, this is my life, this is my life. And I had this aha moment. This was just this morning, and I haven't even told Corinne yet. And he goes, you are life. You are life. This is not my life. This is not your life. This is life. You are life. You are living it. This is
You're.
it.
Mhm. Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
kind
Yeah.
of nice after like that whole time, like, you're into your 30s and early 40s, like everything's so chaotic because, it's all happening at once. I didn't realize that you get to have this part of life where it can be a little bit calmer. Things come together a bit more and you it's not as much as of the you're still doing as much work, but doing it calmer. It's
And
nice.
trusting.
Mm.
And I
And
think
trusting.
trusting,
Yeah. It's
trusting that.
really lovely.
Yeah, isn't it?
Moments.
Yeah. Yeah, there's moments and there will be days where it's like, but
Yeah.
then it's like, oh, hang on, hang on. Where was that moment? When did I have that? Let me find it again.
Yes.
And so you
Yeah.
were talking about the one of the big ones for you was letting go. Did I hear you say that was it many different layers, or was it specifically letting go of holding everything, feeling like you were holding everything together, or
It was the feeling like I was holding everything together. Like
yeah.
I feel like I got into this place where it was just I wake up, I start working, I start figuring out you're solving problems all the time for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
not always for yourself. It's been and everyone's life gets that way. Ours was just, how do we sustain ourselves out here? This is where we want to be. We chose the environment. And that's a blessing because we get to walk out of our doors whenever we need to choose to get out of the building more often. We don't enough, but it's right there. It's right there. So we chose that first, but you got to build. Well, I think we could have yeah, we could have gone many different paths here. We could have chose a more homestead type of way of
Mm.
living. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think I was at that place of trust,
Mm-hmm.
15 years ago. I think about that now. Like we have a little house here and it was our first ever home. And like I go there now, it has such a nice little backyard, a nice little shed. I was like, God, we could have just got some chickens, some solar panels, and just,
But you
but
wouldn't
that's,
have this story
we
then.
wouldn't have this. So it's all
No.
good. It's all wonderful.
Yeah. We
It's
wouldn't
all
be
wonderful.
here right
That's
now
right.
making
So
eye serum and deodorant and
yeah, we got things to do. We got things to do. Yeah.
yeah.
It's all wonderful. Yeah,
And
And
it's
Corinne, Grates Cove, like I took Corinne, she's been on many hikes over the years. Grates Cove is rural and it's rugged out there, and the winters are intense. I mean,
yeah,
you walk outside and it is rock, and they are looking right at the water. And man, when that northeasterly's coming in, right, it's
mad.
like, wow, there are no trees this tall.
Yeah.
Like, are there any trees? They're very low to the
That's the joke.
ground.
A few years ago, we had a CBC said there's a forest fire in Grates Cove, and we had people calling, "What's on fire in Grates Cove?" What? So there's a few. And like if you get into the interior a little bit, there are, but on the
Yeah.
coast here, yeah, no, it's not very conducive for trees growing very tall.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And I loved it when you had your restaurant and we went out and I forget how you worded it, but something like this. This is what was on the menu. This is what we're serving tonight. If you like it, make a reservation.
That's right. Oh
No,
my gosh.
If you don't bother. There is
Oh,
there's nothing else on the
we
menu.
can do what we can do.
And
that's
Yes.
what
it
all of
was,
life should be.
I'm talking
Yes.
masterclass, man. She made a
Oh,
meal that, oh my God, incredible. Every bite had like mouth orgasm. It was like so many flavors. It was amazing. Yeah.
thank you. We've
So
had a
she
I was
knows
gonna
how to
say,
It's
was
been a
it
cook.
wonderful
mostly
connector.
is it
It's
mostly forage stuff, or was
some of it is we actually when we started working with seaweed, we started making a seaweed broth. And we make it with local vegetables, so the turnip, um, carrot, turnip, cabbage. How can I forget cabbage?
Yeah.
So it has familiar flavors to it, but then, we also put a dab of cayenne in there with it as well, and
mm-hmm.
local sea salt.
And your
So we
tea.
started using that in the broths of our dishes, where we
Mm-hmm.
would make a seafood broth. we started making a seaweed broth. So I think
Nice.
like however we continue with food now, everything's got to be about seaweed. It's
Oh yeah.
just it's
Yeah.
so yeah, we're trying to figure out that component. Because I hate to give up on the food because it's been such a wonderful connector, but
I
it's got to
still
be
feel
manageable.
I still feel it the element is there for it because I love the medicinal qualities in seaweed,
Yeah,
whether it's done in bags or, somebody comes along and says, we want to do something with that's a great idea. Who knows? I mean, universal escrow, right? The money
yeah,
comes in from somewhere because this is healing and you're paving the way right now. We all got our little hats in the ring and we're helping each other and that's all it's all about,
yeah.
just
I feel like
moving
my
through
job is
it.
to put it all out there and
And see what sticks.
see what sticks.
See
Yeah,
what
see what flows. See,
sticks.
see where the energy flows. The people that I've been around that are very successful, that's kind of what they do.
Mm,
Is they throw a bunch of stuff out in
Yeah.
the air. They're very creative. Throw a bunch of stuff out in the air, and whatever sticks, they kind of go in that direction.
yeah,
And then I've talks with people, when I'm coaching them, and there's like this one songwriter friend who really wants to be her own artist, right? She wants to be singer songwriter, but the energy is into writing musicals on Broadway, and she's had so much success with that. And I'm
yeah.
like, just go where the energy's flowing right now, and then after you do that, then the doors can open up for the other things.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to trust. Yeah,
Yeah.
and where that excitement is, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably meeting Eddi infused because I feel like every time
Oh,
we partner with somebody, there's like another infusion of energy and ideas. Like I had a producer tell me that years ago. He goes, me and you are only going to come up with so many ideas, but then you add different people coming in with their instruments, and they come in with ideas we never would have come up with.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that because it just like makes it manifest. And it's nice because this isn't about like us. It's about what can this be? What can this do? So it takes
Yeah.
energy in this mind.
Yeah.
It's all the bringing that passion of it and the possibilities forward.
Yeah.
I throw so much at them. Poor Terrence. He's like Strat. He'll look at me and he's like, oh, I better stop now.
Isn't his name Torrance?
Terrence.
Terrence.
Oh, I thought you kept
Terrence.
saying Torrance. And I was like, that's a unique name. It's Terrence. Okay, I know Terrence. Yes.
Yeah. Terrence.
Tarrance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Terrence. Yeah. Good old
Yeah,
Terrence.
yeah, and I feel like the intent, yeah, I feel like the recipe for everything is so beautiful with everything you're sharing here. The intentions, the organic nature of everything, the organic nature of the products, your intentions. It's really beautiful. And I know there's so many challenges whenever pioneers, that's just what happens is it's like you're making your own path, you're not following down somebody else's path, you're creating, you're bushwhacking your own pathway, and it's hard. So
Yeah.
but it seems like you've come such a long way already. Like people can
Yeah.
order today, they can go online and they can order
Yeah.
the BW cream, it's called, that. Oh, is
Yes,
that
that one will
available?
be out soon. I think April 15th, there'll be the launch date for that one.
Nice.
But we have our other products there. But yeah, it's good. It sounds like they're looking forward to that skin barrier cream and bladder and yeah,
The eye serum
eye
and all
serum.
the other things. There's
Yes.
Yep.
lots.
The
Yeah.
vaginal cream. Eddie's very excited about
We're
that.
going to, oh, yeah, especially menopausal women, I'm sure Terrence is going to be really excited about that
Oh
too,
yes.
Courtney, one
Oh
day.
yes. Oh my gosh.
Strat will too, probably.
Yeah.
Corinne's only getting it now. See, look there. I don't mean the cream. I mean.
Uh-huh.
Oh, this was a great
Mm,
chat. I'm so glad you
Yes.
came in. We
Thank you
lost your
very
visual
much
there
for
for a
having
little.
me.
yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, Courtney, it's so great to meet you. I've heard all about you.
You as
And
well. Very nice to meet you.
yeah, it's awesome. And
Yeah.
I hope to come and see your place and maybe have your food if you still doing it or
Of course. Oh yes.
sometime. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sounds
And Eddi,
awesome.
thank you very much.
You are so
It's
welcome.
really, really wonderful to work on this with you.
I agree. I'm excited about it, and I love that when there's, you know, when there's lotion, there's motion
Yes, from the ocean.
from the ocean. And we got lots of plans, and it's beautiful. And that's, visions are how things are created. You gotta see it, and I saw it with you guys. So, yeah, you're a good family, and I hope everybody listening, uses this cream, attempts it, or whatever, just loves the story, right?
Yeah,
There
it's a
it
great
is.
story. Thank you for sharing your story because it was awesome.
Yeah,
Great
thank you
journey.
both very much.
Thanks, Courtney. Lots of love.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.